Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, I am super excited. Well, first of all, I'm like Garrett. I love your wallpaper, palm trees.
Thank you.
For those of you that can't see that are just listening. But I'm super excited. We have a guest today, Garrett Maroon. And Garrett came to my attention as somebody who does a great real estate business. And you and I have been talking about going back to the basics and,
Yep.
the market's shifting and we need to get back to things that are important, adding value to people and just staying in touch. So
Back
Garrett.
to database.
Yes. So Garrett, you were born and then what happened? Cliff Note version, of course.
Yeah, well, obviously the world changed. No, so I was born, and as I came up, I was born in Richmond, Virginia. Ended up going to college in Hampton Roads, Virginia, near the beach. Met my wife
Oh, wait,
there.
Garrett, were you close to, I might be saying this wrong, but Henrico?
So, sort of, yeah. Where I was born, yeah, probably like 30 minutes away from Henrico.
Okay, my best cousin lives there, and I visited her there, and I thought it was like the cutest little town, but they work in Richmond.
Oh, how cool. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I spent 18 years there, came to college down here in Hampton Roads, Virginia, and stayed here. I worked as an assistant director of admission at the university I graduated from. My wife and I get married. Essentially, she says, "Hey, you'd be great in real estate. I think you should try that." And I said, "Absolutely not. My family is not okay with risk, like 100% commission, definitely not doing that." And honestly, it was a lot of things that the Lord just led me to it of meeting people, someone who was starting a team who I really admired. And just the opportunity was, all right, let's, now or never. My wife was working and we didn't have any kiddos at the time. So it was a good chance. So I just took a leap. 2014, started in real estate. And it's funny, I told my wife that in 3 months, if I don't have business, I'll go back to a normal job. And in 3 months came and went, and I had nothing. And so I said, can I get another 3 months? And we agreed that I could. And it was 5.5 months after I started where I finally got my first client. But it just kind of took off and snowballed from there. So yeah, it's a real brief about my story, but really glad I got in. Had no idea what to expect, and it's changed everything in a great way. And I'm really thankful for that.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's great. So tell us a little bit about your business. What have you done since 2014, and what are some of the things that you think of? Dana and I talk a lot about. We feel like the market's kind of shifting, so people need
Yep.
to make sure that they're doing the basics. But to kind of talk about how your business, I saw on your website that you do some kind of contest and stuff. But kind of give us some details. Give the audience some details about how you've built that business from
Yeah.
going almost 5.5 months without anything to now
Right.
where you are.
Yeah, no doubt. So I've been 100% referral from day one. I've never done an open house or made a cold call or bought a lead or anything. And, I don't know if that's just because I was stubborn and I didn't want to, but I think I had some understanding that if I'm going to build a business in 5 years, I need to like the way I built it, right? So I just started trying to learn and understand, those 5.5 months, I wasn't just sitting there. I was learning, why is this not working? I only had 40 people in my database, right? I wasn't from this area, as I mentioned. So I didn't have a big database, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I just learned, how can I make this work? And my first full year, I sold 27. The second full year, I sold 50. And I've just continued to do at least 50 every year since then. And I've been really fortunate. I'm working, by year 3, I was working maybe 35 hours a week, something like that. And was just really fortunate to be able to build the business that way and build by relationships. Fast forward to 2019, I had hired my second full-time admin at that point. I was getting ready to hire my first full-time agent. He actually came on April of 2020, so right after the world shut down. But we've always been 100% referral. And quite honestly, like you said, Linda, so I've never really lived through a market shift like we're about to experience. But I've traveled around and taught a lot before COVID, and then was doing a lot online, and we'd hop on in, June of 2020, and people would say, well, what are you doing differently this year? And to generate business, I would say nothing. We're caring for people. Like we've always cared for people. We just keep showing up, and more than ever, they need us to show up right now. That, when people are scared or there's fearful, there's things happening around them, they tighten their circle. They don't widen it, and they need the people they can trust. So, hey, we've been here. We're always here. We're still going to be here. We care about you all. And my business exploded when COVID hit, right? Because I was always the guy that just was there for people. And so we've just been really consistent. I mean, I think that's been the key for me for 7 years in a row. I've done what I needed to do to generate referrals, to care for people at a high level. And we're just still doing that. And, heading into a shift, again, not having ever lived through it, but we're just going to continue to do it. And the biggest difference we're doing right now is we were doing a client event every quarter. Now we're doing it every month because we sat around and we thought, okay, what is it that people are going to cut down on, and probably going out and having fun, or, going on dates, whatever it is. So why don't we just show up and do that for them, right? We have always cared, and now
Hey,
we're just
Garrett.
reminding them we do. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, hold on. I just want you to pause on that for a second because we get a lot of questions about client events. We've had
Okay.
other people on to talk about. Will you just touch on that for a minute in
Yeah.
regards to every month is a lot? And I think that's amazing. Like I wish every agent would get to that. What are some of the best ones that your people love? And then are you getting sponsors, or will you just touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not getting sponsors right now, and so my whole business has been predicated on, I think agents spend too much money, to be honest. Like, the value of you is the fact that you can be a relationship and be in relationship with your people. It's not the value of the gift. It's the value of you showing up. It's the value of you being there to care. So, for example, now we don't do super cheap things all the time, but so the day that we're recording this, in 2 days, we rented out an ice cream, a local ice cream place for 2 hours, and they can come and get ice cream. It's, I don't know, $800. Last month we did for a local brewery. My wife actually sings, and she was performing and singing there that night. So, hey, come get a free beer on us. And it was like $350, but they got to come and they got to hang out. And the value also is in the invitation, right? Because not everybody can come, but just being able to say, hey, I know that things are tough right now, and we want you guys to still have fun. So this one's a date
I
night,
love
right?
that.
Leave the kids at home. Hey, this next one, bring your kiddos. We always do. The biggest quote unquote secret that people love that we've always done is a family portrait. So we will, every September, we'll do free family photos. So coffee and donuts. We rent out a local park. It's like $100. Get my real estate photographer to show up. Everybody gets a free family portrait. We get them printed. We frame them. We drop them off on their doorstep as a great Popeye gift later. That's, I don't know, $500-600 total. But I go into people's houses now, and they've got 5 years of family photos only because of us and that event. So, I think honestly, and I could be off, but I'm pretty convinced that agents tend to do the expensive things because they're just lazy and thinking about what their people really want and what would really serve their clients and their database. And you don't need to be expensive. They just want you to show up. They want you to think about them and provide something that's going to be fun and meaningful to them and their family. And if you do that, you don't have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, love that.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, love it, love it. Thanks for sharing those. People always want
Absolutely.
ideas.
Mhm.
So I want to back up a little bit. So I'm curious. You said your business has always been referrals. So uh, re- what kind of relationships were your beginning referral? It's easy to know referrals after you've been in the business for a while, but when you're in the beginning, was it your sphere? Did you work a database? Did you go to church and get everybody from there? I mean, what did you do?
Yeah, so no, it was just fear. So I had 40 people, like I said. And so I at least knew relatively at the beginning that if I haven't qualified these people, I can't count them, right? So I didn't just throw everybody in a database. I literally went through and the people I knew and said, hey, I'm moving into real estate. And I was curious if you had a friend or family member thinking of making a move, do you have an agent you'd refer them to? And if the answer was yes, great. They don't go in my database. If the answer was no, hey, I'd love to be that agent. Do you mind if I stay in touch with you? What's your phone number, email, home address, right? And so I had 40 qualified people, and I just worked a system on them. Notes, Popeyes, client events. They got a lot of calls from me early on because I had no one else to call, right? So, but I was just reaching out to them, and quite honestly, Linda, again, it didn't work at the beginning, and I was trying to understand why, and I started to research and learn the psychology, and people only recognize you in one context, right? So I was out of context to them. Yeah, I was leading music at church, and I had just been an assistant director of admission, and they don't refer a music leader to help someone buy a house, right? So I had to get them to think about me in that way. And And then I started learning and do more research. I found that the average person knows 256 people. So I was encouraged that, okay, my 40-person database actually reaches like 10,000 people. I've got a really good shot. It's just a math equation. If 91% of people would choose a referral over anything else, which they would, and I can reach 10,000 people by serving these 40 really well, I feel like I've got pretty good odds. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And so it really was, and I started to learn those things later on, but it was just, these are the people I know. I didn't want to be the guy that just, I get emails now, as I'm sure many of us do, from people who start real estate and they're like, hey, thinking about buying a house, call me. I'm like, no, I'm an agent, right?
Yeah.
Why am I in your database? It doesn't make sense. And, I just don't want to spam people. I want to have actual real relationship, and I believe you can grow that way. So it just started with the people that I knew and were willing to support me or refer me. I
So
hope
did
that
you
answered your
learn,
question.
your system sounds a little bit like by referral. Did you get any training from anybody, or did you just kind of make it all up yourself?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It would have been terrible if I made it up myself. So I had a coach pretty early on. So when I was in the red, I hired a coach. And again, I don't know why. I didn't. It's not like I had some epiphany, but I just knew enough to say, okay, what's in my head is not getting me where I need to go. So I need somebody else to help me. And so I hired a
Mhm.
coach who had worked by referral and was helping me understand the process and how it worked and how to be diligent and consistent on it. And then really, Linda, so probably in 2017, so I loved the Buffini method, but it wasn't systematic enough for me. And one of the things I love about Keller Williams is that it's really systematic. It's very business oriented, not, E to P, right? Being purposeful. And so I said, okay, I'm going to take the Buffini idea and make it really systematic so I can execute it consistently over and over. So I know in November 2025, we're going to be writing notes and dropping off Popeyes that month, right? So I know exactly what's coming, so I can always execute it. And so it was just as I developed that, that has allowed me to be so consistent. But yeah, I got a coach really quickly, and I have always had a coach since then. My thoughts are not going to get, my thoughts is what got me into the problem in the first place. So I
Yeah.
need new thoughts to get me out of it, and it's been really helpful. So I did that early on.
Good
Yeah.
for you. That's so great.
Well,
Honestly,
good for
people
my
can't
wife
wait.
for letting me spend money, even though I wasn't making money. But
Well, it was her ideal anyway, so you could blame her if it
that's
didn't
true.
work,
You're
right?
right.
It was
That
her.
absolutely. I hope you listen to this, babe. Yeah, you got us into this mess. Now let's get us out of it. That's
Yeah.
right.
Now she can be the genius that she knew all along you could do it.
It's true. She does remind me
So,
that she's the reason.
Garrett, so I know you said earlier during COVID, people were saying, "What are you doing?" And you said nothing different, like we're just doing the same thing. Are you planning on doing anything different as we enter a shift, or are you just going really deep and continuing to build on what you're building on?
Yeah, great question. So the quick answer is no. I'm not intending to change anything. Again, I know stats and all the stuff now, but even just from a human perspective, I know that when I get scared, I just want to talk to the people that I trust, and the people I trust are the people that are always showing up in my life. And so I think we're just primed to weather whatever storm is coming, because that's what people are going to do. Hey, I just need someone who can help me. Like, I'm terrified. Who can help me? Oh, Garrett will take care of you,
Mhm.
right? They don't know how many homes I've sold. Consumers don't care. They don't understand, but like, this guy's going to help you. He'll take care of you. That's what they want to hear. So yeah, I mean, the biggest difference, Dana, is we did move to a month-to-month model. We weren't doing that, but that's literally because we know people are not going to be spoiling themselves. So, hey, why don't we show up and fill that gap if we can do it? And in COVID, we did, we morphed with the society. So we went to virtual client events, right? Went to virtual coffee meetings,
Mhm.
so we did those things, but it was just the same thing. I really think the people that I trust at a high level in my life are the ones that have just always been there, right? I might not have needed anything at the time, but they're, hey, Garrett, how you doing? Hey, I'm doing okay, blah, blah. But when I need something, they're the ones I think about. It's the same thing. Humans are not different in different areas of their life. That's how we're wired. And so if I can just be the guy that they say, well, he's always been here, then I'm just going to keep being there. And they're going to say, hey, Garrett, can you take care of me, or can you take care of my friend, whatever it is. And so I just believe that model. And there's a great book, Acres of Diamonds. You all have probably read it, by Russell Conwell. Reality is the business is right under your feet. Don't look
Wait,
wide, look
I've
deep.
never read that. Wait,
Oh,
it's
okay.
very rare that there's a book that I've never read, and I've never read that. What is it called?
Acres of Diamonds by Russell Conwell. He started Temple
How do I not
University.
know that?
Yeah, it's a great book. But I mean, I could tell the story, but I won't. But literally, it is the concept of everything you need is right under your feet. I've only got a database of
Yeah.
300 people. Everything I need is right there. Just care for those people. You'll be okay.
Wow.
And the industry says, go find somebody new. Go find somebody new. And I think more than anything, you mentioned at the beginning, Linda. I hope a shift forces us to think about, I got to care for the people that have always been there, right? And I'm going to
Yeah.
take care of them. And I hope that's what happens.
You
Yeah.
know, it's funny that you say that though, Garrett, because Linda, do you remember when we were just in the mastermind with Gary? I think it was either this last one or the one before that. And he said, if you would just go focus on like the core 300, 200 people in your database, that's all you need. Like just go focus on them.
Yeah. I'm curious, Garrett, did more people show up to your virtual events, or now are they more showing up in person? Did you get more
Yeah,
response?
Yeah, great question. It's been about the same, to be honest.
Wow.
We kind of felt when they got bored. We did a virtual wine tasting event, which we totally butchered, but was fun anyways. We didn't know what we were doing, But again, I just think so much of that is. You have two accounts, an ego account and a bank account, and you get to pick which one it goes into, right? Whatever you do, it goes into just one. It can't go into both. And so for me, I try not to have an ego and say, guys, you can make fun of me. I've thrown tons of bad events. It doesn't matter, right? People will laugh. They'll think it's funny because I'm totally screwing it up, which is totally okay, right? But it's just the fact that, guess what? I'm the guy that's trying to bring a smile to your face, to let you guys know that I just care and I really love your family. And so we're trying to do something fun, right? We threw a movie party event. We rented out a movie theater in March of this year and played a fun movie, got them popcorn and soda. And it was terrible because for whatever reason, the people, I'm not going to say the name, but the movie theater just weren't ready at all. And so it was like an hour and a half late, and it was terrible, right? But we made it funny. It was like, guys, we blew it and we're really sorry, but thank you for coming, hang with us, right? And they had great attitudes and they had fun and they loved, so I just think, like, as agents, just be yourself, have fun. That's what they want. They want to like you. They want to trust you. And you do that by showing up. And that's really what this is all about. So yeah, we had great turnout in all of those, thankfully.
So other than the events, do you do anything to your database? Do you mail them? Do you talk to them ever so often? Do you have any kind of system around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yep. So it's a mailer and an email every month. And then for me, again, I wanted it to be systematic. So I break it down quarterly. So 4 quarters in a year. Obviously, the first month of each quarter, I send a video text message to everybody in the database, right? You've got to have mailers and emails enough. Those are just, hey, I said I was going to show up, so I do. People, open their mail over the trash can nowadays, right? So those are very low value touches. The first month of the quarter is a video text message to the database. And my rule of thumb for my team, we do not talk about business ever, right? They know I'm a real estate agent. They don't want me to remind them I'm a real estate agent. So it's, hey, Linda, hope you had a great new year and, great holiday, whatever. We look forward to seeing you at some of our client events this year. If you need anything at all, I'm always here to help. Boom. Real simple, right? The second month of the quarter is a handwritten note to everybody in the database. And then you pick 25 people that you do a Popeye gift to. And the Popeye gift rule for me, it's got to be less than $2. It's not the value of the gift. It's the value of you went out of your way to show up. When do people just show up at your door with a gift? They just don't. And so we did that. And we've continued to do that. And then the third month of each quarter is a client event. And as I mentioned, and if your best people can't come to the event, you try to get face-to-face for coffee or breakfast or whatever, because face-to-face is really where you grow that relationship, right, in a deeper way. So just that's what we do each month for the quarter, and then we just repeat it over and over and over again. It's really simple, right, and it really allows us to be really consistent in what we do.
That's so good, Garrett, because I just wrote the word simple on my piece of paper after I wrote all those down, because you've just made it, you've not overcomplicated it. You've made it simple. You've made it easy. You have it in a pattern or order, so you know what you're doing and you don't ever have to guess. Kind of like before this podcast, Linda and I were just saying, if it's something that we haven't done on our goals, we need to look at, like, why are we not doing it? Because it might not be that it's simple enough, And I feel like you've done just that. I think a lot of people overcomplicate the 36 touch, and it doesn't need to be.
I agree.
So
100%.
a couple of more detailed questions. Does everybody on your team do 25 pop buys or just you?
Yep, everybody does. So to clarify my team, I've went very lean. I now have one agent, one director of ops, and two interns. And my agent does all the business. I give him all the business. So he did 100 deals his first year, on track for 115, and I'm good with that. And, I spend 6-7 hours in that business maybe, and I work on other things. I wanted to get out. I wanted to stop selling, to be honest. But yeah, so he and I still lead generate, but he and I are the only agents doing it. We both do 25. So we've got a small, powerful team. But yeah, we both do 25 Popeyes.
That's awesome. And I noticed on your website you do some kind of contest. He's going to take somebody to Cancun, Dana.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Tell us about
Yes.
I'm hoping it's one of my people because then I get to go. If somebody on my team wins, I'm a little disappointed. But no, I train people on this, right? Business by Relationships is our training company that teaches people how to do what we do. But so I always want to go first and see if it works before I would teach anybody else to do it. So this year we said, well, what if we started a VIP Facebook group? And we started a VIP Facebook group. All of our past clients can be on it. And every Monday we do a $25 gift card giveaway to somewhere local, right? So we're supporting somewhere local, get engagement. And then every time somebody refers us, they get entered into a chance to win a trip to Cancun. And so at the end of the year, we'll do a drawing. And in order for it to be RESPA compliant, according to the RESPA attorney I talked to, whichever agent they have a relationship with gets to go with them also. But yeah, they win them plus one, a full expenses paid, all-inclusive trip to Cancun. So yeah, again, I'm really hoping it's one of my people because I don't want to send my agent and I just would be sad.
You'd have to stay home.
Yeah, and I'd have to stay home. It's okay. He can win. But yeah, so we're trying that. And honestly, Linda, it's really hard to say if it moved the needle. So I'm still trying to understand the data there before I would tell anybody to do that. But yeah, we've been trying it this year.
Awesome.
that. Sounds a little bit like Perk Your Sphere that we had on
Yeah.
with the Facebook group and the giveaways and stuff. That's awesome. It's worked great for other people. So hopefully
good.
that'll be good for you, Garrett.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was sitting here thinking, man, just give away a $25 gas card right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Everybody appreciate that. We might ought to make it 50 because gas is so high, but whatever.
Yeah,
25 is I know the legal
Yeah,
limit.
you can buy them a gallon. Yeah, that's very kind. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So tell us how you work with your interns. That's kind of cool to keep your team. Are they virtual? Are they from the college? Tell us about that.
So nope, they're both in person. So literally the idea was I just want to be as lean as possible and as many variable expenses as possible, right, for my business. And what I don't want to have is, I want to be able to make the decisions that's right for the business and try to keep emotions. I'm emotional and I care about my people. And so when I have people who their families depend on this income, it's really hard for me to make the quote unquote right business decision. So these interns are young, and if they don't have this job, they'll be fine, right? So it just allows me that freedom to really make the right decision. But yeah, one of them was a girl at our church. She turned 17, or she's almost 18, but she's our runner. She drives around. She likes driving because she just got her car for the first time, right? And $20 an hour, she drives around and puts up signs and lock boxes. And she actually dropped off my Popeyes in May for me. I'm trying to figure out if that works as effectively too, without me needing to be there. And then the other intern is a rising senior at Wake Forest University. She's really sharp, just someone we knew through a friend. And we use her for planning the client events, doing some social media stuff. We don't do a ton of that, but yeah, we just use them how we need them. And it's good experience for them. It's $20 an hour to me. So it's not a crazy expense by any means. And again, it's variable and they're not depending on that to live. So that's worked really effectively. And I'm going to kind of run that model as long as I can because they also are willing to do whatever they got to do. They're not showing up like, well, I'm too good for that. Or like, I just need an internship. So, okay, great. I'll do that. So it's been really good, Linda. We've really enjoyed doing that.
That's a great idea. Really great. Oh, Linda, you're muted, but I think.
Yeah, I like that too, Dana.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think having that as a variable expense is good too, Garrett, especially going into a shifting market, because it can be difficult to know that you employ a lot, people and that's their livelihood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The pressure
100%.
off. So what are you, we're not familiar with your market, Garrett, so tell us a little bit about it. Are you noticing anything? Or you notice the market slowing?
Yeah.
What are you seeing out there?
Definitely slowing down. So we are the one of two areas, San Diego's the other one, that has every military base in the country is here. Every military branch is represented. So we are
Wow.
somewhat insulated to a degree. However,
Mm.
we've definitely felt a slowdown. There's no doubt about it. And I've felt a lot of I would say homeowners who are trying to upgrade and saying, well, why, like all of us, why would I trade my 2.75 for a 5.5? And I think
Mm-hmm.
that once they see that this is where the rates are going to stay, it'll rebound. But for right now, yeah, it's relatively slow. I mean, and slow, right, is not fair. My agent, who's been with me since April 2020, when we said, hey, it was normal back in the day for 3-ish months to sell. And he's like, what? I don't understand. It's a week and I'm freaking out, So
Yeah.
it's a lot of education for our clients too, and even for him. But yeah, it's definitely slowed down. There's no doubt about that. But the benefit for us is there's no window shoppers either. So if you're buying, it's because you have real motivation. Or if you're selling, you've got real motivation. So we'll take that. But for sure, we're feeling a slowdown.
Are you having to learn any more scripts to overcome any kind of objections from sellers who still think it's like it was, and you're going to bring them 50 offers tonight at midnight, or
Yeah.
anything like that? Are you having to learn some of that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of what we're talking about with me and my agent is, yeah, the sellers and their expectations. Well, my friend just sold in, a day and got blah, blah, blah. And okay, I get that, right? So what we preempt that. So we'll say, hey, in a listing appointment, and he goes, I don't go, but he'll say, hey, do you have any friends or relatives that recently sold a house, right? Or bought a house or whatever the scenario. And if they say, yeah, okay, great. Tell me what their experience was. It was sold in a day and got 50 offers, like you said, Linda, and $100,000 over, whatever. Great. That's amazing for them. I just want you to understand that's not where the market is now. And if that's what you expect, then you might not want to list your house right now, because I don't even know if we're ever going back to that, but that's certainly not where we are now. And so I just want you to have a realistic expectation of what's probably going to happen. And so we try to preempt it by understanding what have the people in their life done recently, and to make sure that if we understand what they've done and they have a certain expectation, we can address it right away. Not always, clients forget everything you say, right? When they just want
Yeah.
what they want, but we try to preempt it in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to say it over and over and over again, and in
Absolutely.
different ways until they
Right.
get it.
Absolutely. It's so true.
Dana, do you have any final questions?
Nope, I think this was great. I took a ton of notes, Garrett, too. If somebody were saying, "Hey, I just have never treated my database like I should," what's like the first thing you would tell them to do?
Yeah. So number one, I would figure out who's in your database, right? And so very quickly, you got 2,000 people there. Great. I don't care if you called them. If I called them right now and I said, who's your agent? What percentage would say Dana? And whoever those people are, because I would want them to qualify, but that's going to take too long. Whoever says Dana, that's your real database. Do a 36 touch on them, right? So understand who's in your database first and foremost would be the first thing. And then just find a system that you can follow. We give that, right? Our training company does that, but tons of places have it, right? But then I would ask the question, are you going to be consistent? If not, go find help. But yeah, know who's in there, and then actually just do assist. It's not hard. It's so simple, right? It's just the people that are willing to take action. That's what separates most of us in this industry. So figure out who's in there, make sure it's the right people, and then just get to work. It's really easy. Don't overcomplicate. Just do something, and it'll be better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm just curious, one final question for me, and then we want you to tell people how to find you and follow you and check out your training stuff. Are you doing anything to build wealth?
Yeah, so great question. So for me, it's investing certainly in real estate. It's investing in stocks and doing those kinds of things. But then I also like to have cash on hand to start businesses and invest in people. So I do a lot of that as well, is investing in businesses and other people and helping them get off the ground. That's what I really love to do. And then I've got 3 kids, so I don't really have any money left. But we're doing our best. We're doing our best over here for sure.
That's awesome. There's a reason your wife wanted you to get in real estate. She
That's
needed
right.
that cash flow
Yeah.
for those kiddos.
That's
That's
true. That's
awesome.
the secret. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So Garrett, this has been awesome. How do people
Yeah,
find you?
thank
How do they
you.
follow you? How do they learn more about you?
Sure, yeah. So probably the easiest way, businessbyrelationships with an S.com is our training company. You can email me, Garrett at businessbyrelationships.com. I'd love to chat. But that's probably the easiest way. We also have a podcast called Serving Not Selling, which I'd love for y'all to come on. I'll email you. And so we love to serve people there too. So they
Love
can
that
check out either of
name.
those things. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
me
So they can check
too.
out either of
Name.
those.
So good.
Thank you.
Love
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good. All right. Well, we'll be happy to do that. And thank you, Garrett. We love
Thank y'all.
everything you're about. We're about also. We
Yeah, I
believe in
appreciate
life
that.
gives to the giver and takes from the taker, like my
That's
friend
right.
Joe says.
Amen to that.
And we can tell you come from the heart and you really take care of your people. So I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yes,
Yeah,
So,
your
thank y'all.
website looks great too, by the way. Everybody should go check out the website.
Yeah,
yeah,
thanks. I
awesome.
appreciate that.
So remember, if you have not hit subscribe, please go ahead and hit that button below so you can help other people find our podcast. And remember, Dana has a goal that we got to hit by the end of the year of 500 reviews. So help us out there. We totally appreciate that. That's the greatest compliment you can give us. And if you have a question, comment, or challenge or guest you'd like us to sponsor on the podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. Garrett, thank you. And Dana, I'll see you next
Thank
week.
y'all.
Sounds good. Yes. Thanks, Garrett.
Thank y'all.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.